It was a forward dive, straight position. Right straight in. That's a good start for her.
Amy in 10th place coming into this, her 9th dive, and we'll take a look at it again.
This is a nice approach to the end of the board. A nice jump and set in the air. Right straight in. That's a good dive.
6.5 to 7.5 the range there from the judges. Here is Jenny Baker. Jenny stands 5th right now. She's from Granite City.
She's got some really nice lines in the air. She's tall. We'll see it right here in this forward dive pike. That was nice. You can see the nice line in the air, the nice straight legs, and beautiful toe point.
Jenny Baker came up to finish 7th last year. Here she goes now on her 9th dive.
That's a beautiful jump and touch and a nice entry. Right straight in.
Good numbers there.
That's right. She deserved that. That was a very nice dive.
7.5 and 8s. Here's Amy Inselberger. Amy, 10th place finisher last year. Amy from Rolling Meadows. She is a senior with a straightforward dive.
That's another good front dive. Right straight in. The entry was nice and clean. Could have been a little bit closer to the board. But all these girls are doing the final remaining required dive. The very simple forward dive in the straight position.
The degree of difficulty a 1.4 and the marks 6 and 7, 6.5. And here is Irene Gaz. Irene from Chicago Heights Bloom, also with a forward dive pike.
That's a good dive right there. It's right straight in. Could have been a little bit cleaner on that entry. I think the less splash you make, the more scores you're going to get. A real good reach with the arms, touch the toes, looks at the water, and lines it right straight in. That's good.
Generally 6s for Irene Gaz, who's 12th.
She had a little bit of trouble yesterday on a few dives, but hung in there to make the finals.
Simi Maeda is 11th. She is from Glenbrook South.
She got in trouble on the end of that diving board there, and it threw her out a little bit too far away from the board and ended up going over on the finish. You can see right here in the very end, she starts to lean forward and dive out, and it just got a little bit out of control on her.
On the range, 3.5 to 5 from Simi Maeda. Here is Shelley Muscarello. Shelley, a veteran of this competition from St. Charles.
That's nice. That's a good start for Shelley. She's dived so consistently the last day and a half here. She's been really landing on her head. This is a nice forward dive, straight position. Good arm set, legs are straight, toes are pointed. Beautiful entry, right straight in.
And here's Stephanie Cutinelli from Friend High School in Palatine. Stephanie is 2nd in the competition. She is also going to be doing her last required dive, a straightforward dive.
That's a beautiful dive right there. Beautiful entry, nice and clean. Really, really well done. She's got some really nice lines in the air. She's got a tall body, beautiful jump and set. Nice flat hand entry and right straight in.
6, 7s, and 8s for Stephanie
Good
Cutinelli.
mechanics on that.
And here is Carrie Zarsi. Carrie, currently the leader. 2 years ago's champion, finished 2nd last year. And a little determination on that face, I would say, huh?
Well, I really think she wants to regain this title. I think she's really worked hard for it, and I think that getting 2nd last year really gave her a good boost to train harder. That's terrific. Beautiful inward dive pike, nice and straight on the entry. No splash. You notice there was no splash on that entry. That was terrific.
A 1.5 degree of difficulty right there. And the numbers 7.5s and 8s for Carrie Zarsi. A good start to keep her on top. This is Lauren Winger. Lauren in 8th place, and she is from Evanston.
Did the forward dive with a half twist. This is the toughest required of all 5. It's tough because you have to dive and do a twist at the same time. And the twist comes in when you look down that hand right there. Looking at the water and right straight in. That's a good dive. That's a nice start. And it carries the highest degree of difficulty as well.
5.5 and 6.5, the range there from the judges. 7 judges in all. This is Kerry Hannaful in 4th place from Barrington.
That's another good forward dive. Most of the girls here today are doing their last and final required dive, which is most of the time their best required. And every front dive we've seen so far has been very nicely done. This is a real nice forward dive straight.
For Kerry Hannaful, 6.5 to 7.5 the range. Kerry, the senior at Barrington. Next from Champaign Centennial, this is Jennifer Noonan. Jennifer in 3rd place. She finished 6th a year ago.
Did an optional dive first. A little bit different strategy here by doing that optional dive first instead of the required dive. I think she wanted to get that one out of the way there. She had a beautiful top and takeoff right there, but she just didn't kick hard enough on the finish and let it go a little bit too far over.
And it translates in the scores, 3.5s and 4.5s for Jennifer Noonan, who was 3rd. Now here, the final diver in the series, Molly Searing from St. Charles. Molly is 6th now.
She did a really good job yesterday in the prelims to get here to the finals. Very nice front dive straight. She did all her required dives yesterday really, really well and hung in there and was really tough. That was a nice forward dive. Arms are up at the top. Beautiful set. Legs are straight. Toes are pointed. And right straight in.
5.5 and 6.5 the range there. Again, this is all computed and figured out in the computer. And we start the second round. Ron, as you said, we're going to be seeing more creative dives now with the requirements pretty much out of the way, except for 1 or 2 divers. Once again, Amy Murin from Hinsdale Central. Amy, the 10th place contestant right now.
This is a tough dive. It's a reverse 1 1/2 somersaults tuck. She's going to walk off the board forward and spin backwards towards the board. She got straight up and down, but a little bit low on that finish there. She could have used a little more jump and reach off that board. Right here, she could use a little more reach up. Good tight tuck. Good kick finish. She lost her legs just a little bit. She's a badminton player and a basketball player as well as a diver, so she's doing all 3 sports in her high school year.
Pretty much 5s across the board for Amy Murin. Here's Jenny Baker again. She will be doing a back 1.5 somersault pike.
She's right on her head. She's straight up and down, but when you see this on the instant replay, you'll notice that she didn't get her hands over the top of her head on that finish. Legs are straight, nice pike, but right there, she never got her hands together, and it pulled a little bit by and had a little bit too much splash.
4.5s and 5s. And here is Amy Inselberger. Amy stands 9th.
That's a forward 1 1/2 somersault with 1 twist. It's a very tough dive to do. You've got to do a 1 1/2 somersault plus do 1 full twist in there too, and it's technically a tough dive. There's the somersault and the twist with the arms that she's wrapping, and rolled just a little bit by in the finish. She kind of ran out of room there in the bottom.
For Amy, and now Irene Gaz from Chicago Heights Bloom. This will be a forward 1 1/2 somersault with a twist.
That was nicely done. Right straight in. That's a good dive right there. Nice and solid on the finish. 5 Real good twisting action. She lost her legs just a little bit, but went right straight in.
5.5s and 6s for Irene Gaz. Here's Simi Mehta, who had some problems earlier on her last required dive. This time she'll try the forward 1 1/2 somersault pike position.
That's a real simple, easy dive, and it is done very, very well. She's a former gymnast, and you can see some of the gymnastic background in her diving.
She is a senior, but only 16 at Glenbrook South. 5.5 generally from the judges here for Simi Mehta. There is Shelley Muscarello. We'll see Shelley in a minute. This is a tough dive, a back 1 and 1/2 somersault.
Right, she's got to really get her legs up hard on the start to initiate that spin. She did that. She got the legs up really, really quick. She could have been a little firmer and tighter on the water, but a pretty good dive.
4 to 1/2, 5 to 1/2.
Legs are up nice. She's got a little knee bend right there.
For Shelley, anything from 4.5 to 6s on that dive. Here is Tiffany Cutinelli. And she will do the forward 1 somersault, 2 twists. And this is a 2.3 degree of difficulty for Tiffany. Backed off there.
1 somersault, 2 twists freestyle, difficulty 2.3.
We'll see what the conversation's about.
I really don't know what's happened to her. She started her first step of the approach, but I think she's just lost a little bit of concentration.
Maybe just plain nerves, huh? This is not exactly an easy spot to be in.
But I think the crowd's going to help her get going here. I think once she gets in the air, she'll be fine.
From Friend High School. Not at all.
That was short of the double twist. I think she just totally blanked out on that. And she forgot what she was doing. She starts the twist. This part's good, but then all of a sudden she lets go with the arms and leaves that twist short of the double twist. And I believe they failed it. They didn't give her a score. This is Carrie's forward 2 1/2 somersaults in the tuck position.
Carrie Zarsi, our leader.
That was terrific. Can't do it much better than that.
Well, I tell you, you don't have to be a judge to know that that one was good. And this crowd responds. Wow.
That was beautiful.
Carrie Zarsi.
This is not an easy dive. That's a 2 1/2 somersault tuck. Beautiful tuck. Right straight in.
And the numbers reflected 7.5s and 8s.
Nicely done. You know, she has so much talent. She loves diving, number 1. And number 2 is that she's got the strength and the beauty for her diving. And she's got the mental toughness to compete.
Lauren Winger now.
It's a forward 1 1/2 somersaults with 1 twist. That's right straight in. That's a pretty good dive. I think she'll probably get 4.5s and 5s on it, but not too bad. She hasn't really been diving all that long.
Only a sophomore here at Evanston.
Right, I think with a little more experience and a little more time, she's going to be in there in the years to come.
And you're right again, Coach. Here is Carrie Hannafel from Barrington. Carrie reverse 1 1/2 somersault, 2.3 DD.
That looked a little bit close from here. Looked like she pulled back into the board and was a little bit too tight. But the door opened up when Cutinelli failed that dive for these other girls to jump up to 2nd and 3rd place. That's a good top. She arched just a little bit on the finish, but right straight in.
Split her feet on the takeoff.
Yeah, she had a little bit of a cowboy spin. And they do deduct points from that.
Jennifer Noonan now from Champaign Centennial. Jennifer probably benefits the most from the problems Cutinelli's having. She is 3rd.
Right. She's doing a required dive right here. She's doing the inward dive in the straight position. That was nicely done. That's a good dive right there. Right straight in, solid.
For Jennifer Noonan, another senior from Champaign Centennial.
Beautiful jump and set right there. Right up over the board and right straight in. That was nicely done. She's a really good competitor. She's a quick spinner, good rhythm with the board.
Next is Molly Searing. Sorry, Ron.
Oh, that's
It's,
okay.
Molly from St. Charles. And this will be a back 1.5.
That's a good kick finish right there. It's a little bit low. She could use a little more jump and strength off the board. A lot of these girls do lift weights. Nice tight tuck. Good kick out, but she needed to stretch just a little bit harder on the water.
5s and 5.5. Final round now, Amy Murin.
Beginning the final round of diving. Amy Murin.
Amy from Hinsdale Central. Leif Erickson, her diving coach. A look at the crowd. And there is Amy. This is her final dive in the 1990 state competition.
That was well done. Very lovely forward 1.5 somersaults pike. For a big girl, she really does a good job. Usually the smaller girls are the ones that can do all these easy, tough dives. That was very nice forward 1.5 pike.
She goes out with some good numbers,
Yes,
6 to 7.5.
That was well done.
Jenny Baker now. Jenny concentrating on a forward 2.5.
I like this girl's diving. She's very smooth. She's got a beautiful approach to the end of the board. And she's got some grace and classic style about her diving.
She's also got a tough one here, 2.4.
Yes, she does. She needs to really get the spin moving by throwing hard with the arms and getting a good takeoff off the end of the board. She got the spin moving really, really well, but didn't know what to do with it on the end of it. She just needed to kick and look at the water just a little bit harder, and she would have had that, but she let it roll just a little bit. Beautiful tight tuck, but she rolled out of it on the finish, and it washed a little bit over.
Mostly 4s. Next is Amy Inselberger, her final dive as a high school competitor. She is a senior, and it'll be an inward 1.5.
Just a little bit short of vertical on that. She ran out of room on the end of it. She needed to be just a little bit closer to that board. She backs off just a little bit and kicks a little early, left it a hair short.
4.5s and 5s. Here's Irene Gaz.
Irene Gay, blue, forward 2.5 somersaults tuck, difficulty 2.4.
Forward 2.5 somersaults tuck. I left it a little bit too short there, vertical. She's not going to get very good scores on that one. She got into trouble in the tuck. The tuck is a little bit too loose. She could be a lot tighter and let go a little bit too early on that.
Irene in 12th place, the junior at Bloom High School in Chicago. Here is Simi Mehta from Glenbrook South.
2 twists, 3, difficulty 2.3.
Simi with a 2.3 degree of difficulty forward 1.5 with 2 twists.
She got a little bit out of control on the finish. The twist and everything was really well done, but she had a little bit too much lean on that takeoff, and it gave her a little too much somersault. Right there, she got a little too much somersault, and then washed a little bit over.
And got 3s.
Shelley Mascarello, St. Charles.
And here is Shelley Mascarello. And there is a young diver to be, no doubt.
Yeah, she needs to back her feet up really hard on this. I talked to her about this dive. It's hard for her. She needs to back her heels up. She got down pretty well on that. That's a tough dive for her.
5, 4, 1.5, 4, 1.5,
She needs to move those feet behind her and initiate that spin just a little bit harder.
4.5 mostly. Now here is Tiffany Cutinelli. Remember, she had that big problem on her last dive, and obviously she needs this as much for her future as she does for the present.
Right. It's a shame what happened to her in that last round. She's been in this contest from the very first dive, and unfortunately she's back down in the standings. That's not like it. That's the Tiffany I've seen all season long. She's dove well all year long.
She was second coming in. Obviously, the failed dive last time will set her back severely, but here she gets 5.5. Here is Carrie Zarsi. And Carrie now with this second state championship all but in her pocket with a 2.4 degree of difficulty inward 1.5 somersault.
This is one of Carrie's bread and butter dives. That was nice.
I'll put the bread and butter on the table. She certainly fed the Bulldog with that one.
That's one of her better dives. Beautiful inward 1.5 somersaults pike. Pops the hips up. Look at that pike. That's terrific. Looks at the entry and right straight in. She's got a lot of grace and beauty to her diving as well as strength.
And you'd say that even if you weren't her coach, right?
She's a hard worker, and I really think Carrie takes her diving very seriously.
And only a junior. She'll be back again next year.
That's right.
Here's Laura Winger. Sophomore from Evanston with the forward 1.5.
That was a good dive right there. Right straight in. She's got a nice body for diving, meaning she's got long legs and good toe point. And I really think that it accentuates that pike position in the air right there. That's right straight in. It's a good dive.
Carrie Henderson now.
Barrington, forward 1.5 somersault, 1 twist free.
The judges are looking for interesting things about their diving, the straight legs, the toe point, the height off the board, and the last thing they see is that entry.
Also split her feet on the takeoff and didn't get the height that you were talking about.
I think she needed to land with her feet closer together to get a little bit more push off the board. She landed a little bit too much in a straddle position and didn't get quite the push that she'd see right there. She got her legs too far apart and doesn't get a lot of push from the board and runs out of room on the finish.
Jennifer Noonan in third place to start this final round. Barely behind Tiffany Cutinelli, so you can assume she's in second place right now. Trying to hold on here with a back 1.5.
That's a good dive. That's a nice finish for her. She'll get 5.5s and 6s on this. Good back 1.5 pike. Just a little bit lean there on the start. Nice pike. Looks at the board. And puts it right straight in.
You know, you talked about the numbers they get. How do these numbers compare with, say, Olympic numbers? Are they gradual, or is it a 10 the same for everybody?
I think that
We look at Molly Searing here.
there's 3 levels. There's the high school level, there's the college level, and then there's the Olympic level. Of course, somebody like Carrie Zarsi is getting scored according to somebody like in the senior level. But these other girls are getting scored more or less on the high school level.
Molly Searing now from St. Charles.
It's been a popular dive today, the forward 1.5 with 1 twist. She left that a little bit too short of vertical to get very high scores on this. There's good twisting action, but she just needed a little more somersault and a little more rotation to get there.
All right, well, that concludes the dives. Ron Marriott, good to have you with us. Congratulations to you on working with Carrie, of course, and
Thank
on
you.
your own career, which has quite a big shine, too.
Thanks a lot. It was great being here.
Okay, and of course for Tiffany Cutinelli, we hope she, being a junior, will come back and maybe give Carrie a run for her money again next year.
I think she will. I think today was just a case of nerves. I really think she's dove well all year long. She has a lot of talent and ability, and I think she'll have something to learn from today. I think each meet you go into, you learn something new, and that's not letting the pressure get to you, and I think she'll be fine.
Let's take a look at Carrie Zarsi's final dive. We'll come back and watch the medals.
Mr. Mr. Tom Howard.
Ron Marriott, Mike Lederman with you. We are back for the diving awards, places 1 through 12, starting with the 12th place finisher. And presenting the diving awards will be Tom Howard. Tom Howard is principal of Fremd High School, as well as the president of the board of directors, the IHSA.
3:16.15.
12th place finisher is Simi Mehta of Glenbrook South. And Simi, who had a problem on the first dive, came back strong. And
I think that first dive really hurt her in the end here. It was a low degree of difficulty dive. It was a required dive, and unfortunately, she dropped a little bit when placing today.
Well, here she comes.
Finishing in 12th place, Simi Mehta, Glenbrook South. 316.15 points. Finishing in 11th place, Irene Gaze, Chicago Heights Bloom, 324.60.
Irene Gaz from Bloom High School.
She moved up a spot with that real good full twisting 1.5 she did in the last round.
Tiffany Hudnelli, Palatine Fremd, 334.70.
Well, we talked about Tiffany, and there she is. She's smiling now.
That is unfortunate. She was in second place going into the finals, and you can see what no points will do to you. It unfortunately dropped her down.
Finishing in 9th place,
As we said, she'll be back.
Hinsdale Central, 343.60.
Finishes 9th. She moved up a spot from where she started her final 3 dives.
She was very consistent today in the finals, and that paid off for her.
Inselberger, Rolling
Amy
Meadows.
Inselberger from Rolling Meadows High School finishes up 2 spots from where she finished last year, and 1 spot where she started the finals. She finishes 8th and wins the Hat Award.
In 7th place.
She's been a consistent diver for the last few years, and I think that experience paid off for her.
3-5.
Carrie Hannafel from Barrington, who started in 4th place, slipped some to 7th, still 11 spots better than she did a year ago when she came in 18th.
She's gradually moved up in the ranks each year. She's done a little bit better each time.
Where do the divers go now? They're through with the high school season, but most of them, if not all of them, will still be competing, right?
Well, we have United States Diving Championship meets throughout the year, and I think that's one of the things that the divers focus on after their season in high school is getting involved in United States diving. We have meets around the area throughout the state, around the country. They dive 1 meter and 3 meter. And we have quite a few meets to look forward to now through the end of the summer.
And here is the 6th place finisher, Shelly Muscarello from Evanston, and you can hear the locals.
Good for her. She really did a great job the last 2 days. Every one of her dives was well done. She's been around for a while, and I'm glad to see her in the top 6. She deserves to be there.
Bruce Woodbury, your comment.
There's a tie there. They're both standing on the block. So it's tied for 5th.
In 4th place, Molly Searing, St. Charles, 3-5-2-9-0.
She tied with Winger.
And Lauren Winger also.
That's right. That's unusual, having a tie in diving. You don't see it very often. Good for them.
So we'll call them both 5th. Shelley from St. Charles and Lauren from Evanston.
In 3rd place,
And in 4th
Jenny
place, Molly
Baker,
Searing.
Granite City, 3-5-8-3-0.
Molly from St. Charles. So the St. Charles divers did very well. 3rd place, Jenny Baker. And there is Jenny, the sole competitor from Granite City High School.
2nd place,
known for
Jennifer
soccer, but has a
Noonan,
now has
Centennial,
a diving champion.
3-6-7-1-5.
And in 2nd place, Jennifer Noonan. Jennifer, 6th a year ago, 3rd coming into the finals. And Champaign Centennial is the 2nd place finisher.
She was right behind Carrie all season long in all of the invitational meets, the St. Charles and the New Trier meet. She was expected to really finish 2nd in this championship, so she did a really nice job.
With a final score of 57.7.
Now here is our champion for the second time in the last 3 years, and she still has 1 year to go, Carrie Zarsi.
She said to me a few minutes ago when I went downstairs to tell her how good she did, she says, this feels better.
I'm sure she learned a lot by not winning last year. It probably helped her more than she really realizes.
Yeah, it motivated her, is what it did. It really pushed her to keep herself in good shape and train a lot harder.
Won it as a freshman, second as a sophomore, won it again as a junior. We'll see her again next year. And Ron, thank you very much, Ron Marriott,
Thank you.
for your help and expertise.
I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to watch.
And we'll be